Money Block. Here, a contributor at MarketStream.live with what's hot now. Taking a look at the open this morning at 9:30 on our final day of the first week that MarketStream.live has been online. We have a market that's basically flattish to right now in the green. Let me just take a look at this real quick. You could see that the index futures right now, the S&Ps, the NASDAQ, as well as the Russell 2000, all are pulling back off of their best pre-market levels. As a matter of fact, the catalyst was the third quarter GDP. The data showed that the U.S. economy grew by about 2.9%, which was above consensus estimates. Roughly right around 2.5% to 2.6% was what was expected. And they're seeing third quarter growing respective about 0.8%. I'm looking at the headline right now. And about 1.4% in the prior two quarters. So this really gave the Fed funds futures markets a little bit of a kick in the pants, so to speak. If you actually take a look at the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange Fed Watch tool, that's the tool I use, it's now indicating that there is a probability that the Fed will raise interest rates in December of around 82.8%. To put that into perspective, yesterday it was running at right around 78.3%. So we have a lot of certainty being priced into the Fed futures, the 30-day Fed futures right now, that the Fed could be moving rates pretty in that December meeting. Looking at the Treasury markets right now, they've erased some earlier losses, rebounding from yesterday's volatile downturn that we were discussing. The two-year yield is right around about 0.88%. We're also looking at the 10-year note running right around 1.85%. Now, looking at both of these underlyings, looking at 2-year and 10-year, they have really bounced this week in yield, 6 and 12 basis points respectively. So it's been quite a move, and I think that you're also seeing this as a global story. We've seen that, and we discussed that earlier in overnight action this morning, where we saw European rates continuing to move to the upside as well, which again is going to put the current interest rate policies, not only here in the United States, in question, but also the interest rate policies in Europe and Asia. There could be some central bankers that are changing their mind on keeping low rates. What's also notable this morning in company news is ExxonMobil. They came out, the stock's down about 1.4%. Their quarterly results were mixed at best. Also, and taking a look at Baker Hughes, BHI was up about $3.75 pre-market. And there is some news out there, some headlines that are coming across, some being potentially acquired. Got to be very careful with those kind of headlines. We saw that with the Twitter action when Salesforce was looking like there was going to be some sort of acquisition. That fell apart. The stock fell apart. So be very careful with these headlines. But the market is moving in BHI and Baker Hughes, so we want to watch that oil field service name. One thing that I want to keep an eye on as we go through the open and as we get into the 10 o'clock hour Eastern time is the Michigan sentiment. That's going to give us an idea of how the consumer is doing, and look at that October survey. That number could be a further catalyst for the market, especially now that we see that there is some clarity as far as the GDP here in the United States. That could be a catalyst for stocks. But again, we still have a lot going on with the elections. We still have some earnings that are coming out, but we are getting through the bulk of that season, and they have been relatively positive. So we're going to keep an eye on all of this today, and we expect to see some continued volatility going into the midday. So stay tuned. Check us out at 1:30 Eastern time. We're going to be back on We're going to talk about strategy now, see what's trading into the midday, and see what you should be thinking about going into the close of business on our first week here at MarketStream.live. All right, that's the market action right now that we're seeing on the opening. Wish you a great rest of the trading day, and we'll see you at Strategy Now at 1:30 Eastern Time. Take care.